In the news this week, ABC budget gets the chainsaw as the federal government aims to cut costs.
Residents in different councils voice their concerns over council merge.
And Barack Obama tries to make a deal with illegal immigrants on national TV.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Stanislaw.
Good evening. Tony Abbott's promise before the election was as easy as ABC. There'll be no cuts to the ABC and the SBS. But Communications Minister Malcolm Turnbull has broken the promise with the announcement of sweeping cuts to the broadcasters. Political correspondent Blake Danielzak reports from Canberra.
It was a bleak week for public broadcasters, the ABC and SBS, as Federal Communications Minister Malcolm Turnbull confirmed there would be major government funding cutbacks in 2015. $254 million will be cut from the ABC over 5 years. And the SBS, well, they need to find $53.7 million in savings. That's not to mention the already axed Australian network. Malcolm Turnbull confirmed there would be job losses as a result of the budget cutbacks, but how many is in high contention. The union representing ABC staff insists this will mean 1 in 10 jobs will go. That's 600 over the next 5 years. But steering clear from closure at a Senate inquiry, ABC Managing Director Mark Scott refused to answer exactly how many jobs would be lost.
I'd have to take that on notice, Senator.
Can you confirm whether or not local production in South Australia will cease as a consequence of the cuts announced yesterday?
No, I can't, Senator.
Concerns are now mounting over the future of the ABC's rural and regional services, as well as digital radio and iView.
They're eating into the actual operations of the ABC. There's little doubt about that. Mr Turnbull has suggested that they're more or less backhouse operations that are affected, but it seems quite clear that programming will also be affected.
So despite breaking an election promise of no cutbacks to the ABC or SBS, the federal government has insisted the coalition never said the ABC or SBS would be immune from savings. Apparently it's all in the wording. In Canberra, Blake Danielzak, WA MN News.
Hundreds of Perth citizens marched in silence to remember those who were killed as a result of domestic violence in Western Australia. Mental Health Minister Helen Morton also marched in the rally, which highlighted the significance of the upcoming International White Ribbon Day.
Domestic violence victims were remembered this week with a gathering ceremony held in Stirling Gardens. The amount of coffins on the ground represented the number of lives lost to domestic violence.
Very important message is that the numbers of people who are experiencing family and domestic violence is totally unacceptable.
Emotional speeches and poems were read by victims of abuse. Flowers were laid on the coffins before participants marched silently on the streets. WA Mental Health Minister Helen Morton was leading the rally.
March is important because it, as you can see, it brings a lot of people together to express their both condolences for the 16 people who have died this year from family and domestic violence.
On the same day, a free app was launched by Zonta House Refuge Association in an attempt to help the victims of domestic violence. The app contains women's wellness messages and emergency assistance.
This puts technology in the hands of, usually it's in the hands of the perpetrator. Now it's actually working for the victim to be able to access emergency services to potentially record an incident.
Domestic violence victims were also encouraged to call the 24-hour free helpline to seek assistance. Darren McAlane, WA MN News.
Residents from Kalamunda and Geraldale are asking the question, where's my vote in relation to the proposed merge of the local councils? Some ratepayers in the metropolitan area will have a chance to vote against the merge, while others will not. The campaigners are now demanding a better deal.
Basically, in our state, we have, in our Local Government Act, a clause which gives the members of a local government area the opportunity to have a vote if they want to amalgamate or not. And what's happening is the government is not giving us that right. to have a vote.
The fact that this is being done in a thoroughly undemocratic way, and as I said earlier, we're being asked to pay for something that we don't actually know what the product is. I believe if Colin Barnett, Tony Simpson and all the others believe this is such a good thing, then I believe it's the duty of government to, like a business, if this is a new product, sell us the new product, tell us how good it is, show us how good it is.
The undemocratic approach by the government to force through a policy initiative that has no financial or business case behind it. And that's probably the most disappointing thing. And all through the process we've seen the goalposts changed and communities disenfranchised. And that need not have happened if the government had been honest right from the beginning.
Paralysed WA policeman Ryan Marin is facing the possibility of being dismissed by the police force. Mr Marin was paralysed after he was bitten by a mosquito while on duty in Halls Creek in 2011. The police union is outraged over his possible dismissal from the force. News commentator Howard Sattler said Mr Marin deserves a lifetime salary.
The police commissioner should be a bit more flexible, stop being dictated to by the bureaucrats who are totally intransigent, and give a little, give a little to Ryan, give a little to all the police doing their job, because this effect on him mentally and all the other police is going to be devastating.
Labour's 2014 will begin next Monday as thousands of teenagers head to Dunsborough and Rottnest Island to celebrate the end of high school. Police will deploy additional forces in both areas, targeting alcohol, drugs and toolies. WA Police Commander Murray Smallpage urged Labours to stay out of trouble. He also said parents are responsible for discussing the dangers of alcohol and drug abuse with their children.
In world news, mass protesters in Hong Kong have vandalised the Legislative Council complex. A metal barrier was used to smash a window as police struggled to control the situation. Legislators across the chamber have condemned the attacks. The alleged attackers faced court on Friday and they were granted bail. And US President Barack Obama has offered 5 million illegal immigrants in America a chance to stay in the country. During a national television address, Mr. Obama said his plan is a common-sense approach to the immigration issue.
We expect people who live in this country to play by the rules. We expect that those who cut the line will not be unfairly rewarded. So we're going to offer the following deal. If you've been in America for more than 5 years, if you have children who are American citizens or legal residents, if you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation.
And those are the top stories of the week. You can read the latest news on our website.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next Sunday.
Good night.